All right. It is November 25th. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Mountain Time. We're going to go over the newest update. Been gone a couple weeks. Lots been going down with Kiara, so I wanted to get all of the information I could ready before updating because I would hate to make one update that was incomplete and then make a second video that was like a completion of the first update. So this is update number 3, I believe. And picking up where we left off after November 11th. November 12th, 5 a.m. She ate all of her wet food overnight. After playing with her toys for a bit, she must have worked up an appetite because she seems to eat more when her owners are in the room. So the more she plays, the more hungry she gets, which is a good sign. 10:30, we gave her some more gabapentin. She ate a bit of dry food with some lysine treats in it, approximately 4 lysine treats. We decided to move away from the dry food lysine treats and go to like a chewy, bacon flavored lysine treat later on, which she seems to enjoy far more. She actually scarfs those down pretty quick, and you don't need to give as many to her because they're pretty big. So, with the other lysine treats being the dry food lysine treats, she would need to take 10 a day. But with these ones, it's only about 2. So, that's way better than the dry food ones. 10:40 a.m. Theory that Kiara eats more when her owners are present seems to hold some weight because she ate most of her wet food while we were there, but didn't seem to eat it when we were away. So when we're there and we're present, she seems to have more of an appetite than when we are away. Uh, then at 10:45, we gave her some catnip, trying to get her some more playful energy going. And then at 6 p.m., she was sleeping all day. She explored a little bit, but has been relaxing and sleeping and not as energetic, but still playful. At 7 p.m., she started acting weird. The normal thing that I would do, I would crush up a vitamin tablet and spread it all over her wet food and then mix it up so she couldn't see it. But she would go up to her food, sniff it, and then run away. It was really cute, but a little a little weird, because she'd go back to it later and eat it. But it was really weird behavior. It seems like cute cat behavior. Not really anything to worry about. 7:10, she cuddled us for a minute and then went to go eat her dry food. And 7:15, she started exploring the room again, making biscuits and purring. And 7:20, she ate all of her wet food with a crushed up vitamin. Like I said, she was running away from it and went back to eat it. Then goes to explore the room some more. And then 9:45, we gave her some more gabapentin. November 13th, this is where we started to limit how much we were putting into the slides just to keep things more uh, clean and smooth. But 5:15, she woke up in our arms again, ate all of her wet food and dry food overnight, and she did the sniff and run thing again with a fresh plate of wet food and started eating her dry food. But I put 5 more lysine treats into her dry food. At 9 a.m., we gave her some more gabapentin, and then at 6 p.m., she ate all her wet food and some dry food. We started to limit how much gabapentin we gave her because we were starting to run low. So if the bubble on her belly doesn't continue to get smaller and smaller, then we'll pick up more on the gabapentin. And if we run out and there's still some bubble left there, we will ask for a refill on the prescription. 14th, 8:50 a.m. She slowed down on cuddling and sleeping with her owners, but she's still playful and energetic. Seems like she's starting to get distant, but still purrs when we hold her. She ate most of her wet food, but didn't finish all of it. 9:30, we found multiple little spots where Kiara may have thrown up, but it was colorless, odorless. There was no sign of food or bile, just small damp spots spread over a small localized area. Don't know what it was. Couldn't tell you, but we definitely heard her throwing up, and I'm pretty sure that's where she was throwing up. But couldn't tell if it was anything serious or not. It was just clear, colorless, odorless, nothing. So maybe she just drank too much water and just tried to get some of it out of her. Couldn't tell you, but it didn't seem like anything serious. 9:50 a.m. We gave her some more gabapentin. At 10:12 a.m. She ate all of her healthy dry food. She seems to reject the wet food with vitamins in it at this point. However, whenever we leave and come back, she seems to eat a little bit of it and then slowly over time it withers down and she eats most of it, if not all of it. Then at 10:45 a.m., she's spending most of her time relaxing and sunbathing. Normal behavior, but she seems depressed or lethargic. Maybe being in this room is making her sad and depressed. So we decided to let her explore the house afterwards. But that was when basically her gabapentin was almost out. And we were like, well, there's no point in keeping her in the room anymore, because that was the whole point of keeping her in the room, was so that she would have not as much room to like do exercise, so that whatever it was on her belly would actually heal and go away. Anyways, 10:45, she eats her wet food right after I clean her litter box. Don't know if there's a connection there, but she ate all of it instantly. 6:05 p.m., Kiara takes more gabapentin. 11:35, she ate all of her wet food, and she was also given double wet food afterwards. So she may have eaten too much, because the following day, we woke up to her vomiting at 8:15 a.m. in the corner of the room. But at 9 a.m., we gave her more gabapentin, and then 9:50 p.m., she ate all of her wet food with the vitamin in it, and then 8:40 p.m., we gave her some more gabapentin. 8:30 a.m., Kiara was very affectionate and cuddly most of the night, ate all of her wet food and dry food overnight. 10 a.m., we gave her some more gabapentin, and then at 1:10 p.m., we gave her just under 1 milligram of ivermectin, so 0.9 milligrams. This is the prescription stuff that we were given from the vet. At 6 p.m., Kiara takes a new lysine treat, and this is the ones that I was telling you about. She loves these ones. They're the chewy, bacon-flavored ones that are pretty large. It's about the size of like I don't know, what would you say the size is? Like if you were to take one of those old school eraser toppers that you would put on a pencil, on a number 2 lead pencil that had no eraser left on it. It's about the size of one of those eraser toppers that you'd put over that. So that's about the size of it. 9:30 p.m. Kiara is very playful and energetic, very affectionate, finished all of her wet food and all of her dry food. November 17th. She's very cuddly all night. She seems very energetic and playful this morning. She ate some wet food with the vitamin in again. We gave her some more gabapentin at 8:55. 12 p.m. she is very energetic and affectionate still. And then 8:45 p.m. she finished all of her wet food and almost ate all of her dry food. She was still very affectionate. All right, 18th. 8 a.m. Kiara slept with her owners again, and we woke up to really loud purring, so she was very comfy, very happy. 8:50 a.m., we gave her some more gabapentin. At 12 p.m., Kiara ate all of her wet food again. Then 8 p.m., Kiara begins fasting for her ultrasound appointment in the morning. And 10 p.m., Kiara is still super affectionate and very cuddly, but we could tell she was starting to get hungry, and we couldn't give her any food, which kind of made us sad. November 19th, 5 a.m., she woke up in our arms again. So she's still very cuddly and affectionate. The distance maybe was just a one-off kind of thing. But 9:20 a.m., we took her to the ultrasound appointment. Then 10:40 a.m., the vet calls to tell us everything looks about the same as the last since post-operation. They said she has about 3 months to live from today, so that's great news. That's 2 months longer than they initially gave her. However, it's also indicated that we need to increase the dosage from 0.9 milligrams once a week to at least 2 milligrams once a week. But her blood work and her new levels will be completed in the following days, and hopefully we'll get the results sometime the rest of the week, which we did. That was the completion of the information that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. 11:15 a.m., she immediately started eating her dry food after her fasting finally ended. And then at 1:25, she ate her wet food with the vitamin in it. I also gave her a lysine treat. And 5:55, she ate another lysine treat, and she started eating more wet food with the other half of the vitamin in it. On the 20th, 5:15 a.m., Kiara slept with us all night, and she ate all of her wet food and most of her dry food overnight. She was also given a lysine treat in the morning, and she ate it really quick. So she loves these new chewable ones with the bacon flavored. 6:20 p.m., we gave her more wet food and the other half of the vitamin. The bubble on her belly is almost entirely gone. It's been fading little by little. But at this point, the gabapentin was almost gone. So we will let her go without any gabapentin to see if it continues to shrink on its own. If not, with the gabapentin, we'll ask for a refill. 21st, 5:15 a.m. I gave her another lysine treat. She ate most of her dry food, but she didn't finish her wet food this time. 6:20, Kiara ate all of her dry food and wet food. This was in the night, so we gave her more dry food and wet food, and she finished all of her wet food, which was great. She was very hungry when I got home from work. She was clawing and biting at my legs, trying to get me to give her more food. It's very cute, but when I gave her food, she had a few bites and ran away from the bowl again. But at 6:40, she went back and took a few more bites. And then at 10 p.m., she was very energetic. Her bubble on her abdomen is continuing to shrink even without the gabapentin. At least that's what I noticed. But hasn't changed much since this day, which was about 4 days ago. So we might have to start giving her the gabapentin again. We'll give it a couple more days before we make a decision, but we'll see. 22nd, not much happened. She ate all her wet food, and she didn't have any change in behavior. She was the same exact cat as the day before. Same thing happened on the 23rd. Kiara's she had a vomit, or she vomited, but it looked like a hairball, so it wasn't anything too serious. Normal cat behavior. 12:30 p.m., we gave her another lysine treat, and then 9 p.m. is when we gave her another 0.9 milligrams of ivermectin. And then on the 24th, again, same, not much happening. We gave her another lysine treat. 10 a.m., she's walking around the house again, so we let her out of the room, see if we could get her a little less depressed. But we'll continue to keep her alone in her room so we can make sure she's eating her food with the vitamin in it. But for some reason, the other cats and her were not getting along, like, at all, even though they could still sniff each other through the bottom of the bedroom door and, like, paw at each other through the bottom of the door. Once they were back out into the house interacting with each other again, they were not getting along, like, at all. So that's going to be a slow process to get them acquainted again. So for that night, we kept her in the room with us instead of leaving the door open and letting them roam free. But yeah, at 10 p.m., she immediately hopped into bed with us, and she was very affectionate and purring loudly. So we assume she had a great time being allowed to explore the house again. She was getting back into her normal swing of things. And then this morning, on the 25th, Kiara woke up in my arms again. She did her usual meow at me until I lift the blankets up for her, and she'd crawl into a little ball underneath, which was awesome. She hasn't done that in a very long time, so that was very reassuring. I'm pretty sure letting her roam around the house again was very good for her. And then at 10 a.m., she isn't eating her food now that she can roam around the house again. Seems like she is more concerned with the other cats than focusing on her food. We will continue to monitor her, but again, we're just going to keep her locked in the room with her food when it's time for her to eat. Then 11 a.m., 1 hour later, Kiara starts eating her food with no vitamin in it in the kitchen. Not in her room, but in the kitchen. So she's trying to get back into her normal habits around the other cats, it seems like. She's getting more comfortable. 11:40 a.m., she ate her dry food in the kitchen that does have the vitamin in it, and she seems more comfortable around the cats at the moment. So this is great. She's getting acquainted again. It should also be noted, though, that I gave all of the cats some CBD calming treats around 10:30 a.m. So it could just be that they were kicking in and keeping them all calm. So that's why she was comfortable enough to eat in the kitchen. But that is the update on where we're at today. In the next video, I'll take you step by step on what was the results from the previous blood tests and ultrasounds and whatnot, and what we just saw from the other the one that just happened, the ultrasound that just happened last week. So the results look great. It's very promising to see, and we will talk about that in the next video. That way there's no need to just tack that on to the end of this video, which is just an update, and then comparing it to like the other stuff that's been going on. But the other thing that needs to be addressed, update November 19th, 2024. On November 19th, 2024, we took her into the vet to see how her cancer is progressing. From what we saw on the ultrasound, it hasn't grown much, if not at all. Over the 1 month, we should have seen some kind of growth, as hepatocellular carcinoma has a doubling time on average between 10 and 80 days. So in 10 days, we should see it double at at the quickest rate, it should have doubled in 10 days. And then over 80 days, it should have doubled on the low end of time, at the longer end of the time. So if it were to have grown, at minimum, we should have seen at least a 35% increase in the initial size, since it's been about 30 days since we last checked. But it seems the treatment may have stopped or reduced the size of her tumors, seeing as how she had 14 days after her operation with no ivermectin treatment. So it should have been growing within 10 days. It could have doubled, possibly, since the time that her operation was done and before we started giving her ivermectin. So it should have grown within that time, within those 14 days. So it should have been bigger. It really should have been bigger. Like, at minimum, it should have grown at least a little bit. But one thing is for sure, we'll need to increase the dose of 0.225 milligrams per kilogram to at least 0.5 milligrams per kilogram if we want to see the tumor to continue to shrink and or stay stagnant, because this is not the dose that we've been giving her. This is the prescription dose that they've been telling us to give her. But we've seen that it did stop the growth of her tumors and her cancer cells when we were giving her the upper doses of about 0.5 milligrams per kilogram. So we're going to stick with that as soon as the prescription runs out, or we might just double up on the prescription stuff that we have. We'll start that this upcoming Saturday, the 30th. So that's where we're at now. And then the other thing that we need to talk about is what I have also learned through more research. There's this drug called sorafenib, and it may be the key to eliminating the tumors instead of just stagnating them like we have seen in the most recent ultrasounds. There's no dosages for cats at the moment, but there are dosages for dogs, which is approximately 5 milligrams per kilogram, and there's no info on cats or how much they should take, or even if it's safe for them to take at all. So I called oncology for more info, and what they said was it's off-label use for dogs and cats at the moment, which means it is safe for them to take. And to double check that, I looked into what it is that ivermectin does and what it is that sorafenib does. And what I found was they pretty much have the same exact properties on what they do to cancer cells, which means it should, in theory, again, this is in theory, I don't know for sure, in theory, the cat should react to it the same way that they react to ivermectin. However, there are no data on it, no studies, nothing whatsoever. Do not take my word for it. This is we're doing it because we kind of don't have any options at this moment. If we want to get rid of the cancer, we need to go with something more than just ivermectin, because ivermectin seems to be stagnating the growth, but it's not getting rid of it. So, don't know if this is going to work. Don't know if it's toxic. We don't know. But we're going to take it real slow. We're going to go very, very small doses. And since it synergizes with ivermectin, we're also going to tone down the amount of ivermectin we give her, because it's going to be given in combination. We're going to go over that later on when sorafenib comes in, because we just ordered it, and we'll go from there. But from the studies that we've seen, which I will show in a different video, which I'll title it sorafenib in combination with ivermectin. Ivermectin in combination with sorafenib seems to have a very high success rate of eliminating hepatocellular carcinoma and not just stagnating it. So we'll go over that in another video, but those are the two updates that we had to make sure got into this video on top of the update of how she's doing. And so in the next video, we'll go over the results of the previous ultrasound and the blood tests compared to the blood tests and the ultrasounds from her post-operation. And we'll talk to you then.